Okay, so I've just started the recording now. If you can all just raise your hand on Teams for me if you're okay for it to be recorded and shared with the CIPD. Lovely, thank you very much. Okay, so welcome to the session. Today we're going to be going through the new sign-off process update. If you don't know me, my name's Kevin Hill. I'm a learning and development specialist here at Orbit. I will be your facilitator for the session. If you do have any questions throughout the session, if you do have any questions throughout the session, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be more than happy to answer anything that you do have. What you will need for the session is either a mobile phone or a computer that you're able to use things like Google on, just as we do have some online activities. And you will need any form of document, whether it be just a blank document or anything that you've got saved locally that you don't mind being saved onto a shared site. I will go through and delete everything after once we have completed the session anyway. So, but just try not to upload anything confidential. We're going to start off with some introductions. So if you can all just go around, introduce yourself, your name, your position in the business, and then how long you've worked with us for. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Lovely, thank you.
I'm Barbs. I'm the Business Performance Manager, and I've been with the company for 7 years next month, in 2 weeks' time.
Lovely, thank you.
My name's Sophia. I'm part of the learning development team, and I've been with the company for 3 years and in the role for 7 months.
Lovely, thank you.
My name's Charlotte, and I am a risk analyst, and I've been with the company in full for about 8 years now, but I've been a risk analyst for the last 3.5 years.
Lovely, thank you.
My name's Chloe. I'm a learning development specialist. I've been with the company 7 years nearly.
Lovely, thank you very much. I'll just say for myself, I've already mentioned that I'm a learning and development specialist. I've been with the company now for just under 5 years, and I've been a learning and development specialist for about 2 years. So we're going to get cracking on with this session. I'm just going to share my screen. You can all make sure that we can see that. If you just either give me a thumbs up on camera or raise your hand just to make sure that everyone can see that, okay? Lovely, perfect. So before we begin, I'm just going to go through some housekeeping rules that I would like you all to adhere to where possible. Firstly is mobile phones. I appreciate that we all have emergencies and rules. Emergencies and unexpected situations will arise. If we can just ensure that we have our phones on silent if they are beside you, and if you do need to take a call, I'm more than happy for you to do so. All I ask is if you just turn your camera off just whilst you take your call, your microphone's muted, and then turn it back on when you arrive. Engagement, I'm going to go through a lot of information that's I'm sure new to you throughout the session, and want to ensure that we get as much from the session as possible. So if you do have a question, please don't sit in silence. Somebody else may be thinking the same question. I'll be more than happy to answer anything that you do have. And if you don't have the question to hand, or you do think of something after the session, I'm more than happy for you to contact me after, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Please keep your cameras on throughout the session. It's just to ensure that we're all okay, we're all safe, and we're all engaged. Toilet breaks, we will have a break midway through the session for you to make a drink, use the restrooms. If you do need to excuse yourself at any time throughout the session, please just pop a message into the group chat, turn your camera off, and then turn it back on once you return. And then finally, emergencies. We don't actually have any planned fire alarms during this session. So if we do hear the fire alarm, then we will treat it as a real alarm. As a first aider, I am on hand. If anybody does require support throughout the session, please do let me know or signal to me whilst you are on camera. Okay. I'm going to start off with a little bit of an icebreaker then. So what I'd like you all to do, doesn't have to be the emojis on here. If you've got a very specific one in mind that you often use, more than happy for you to use that one. But I just want you to tell me, what emoji would you say best describes you? It can be best describes you today or best describes you in general. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th or 8th emoji on the top row, just because I laugh constantly, even when things are not going so well in life. I'll make a joke out of things to see the brighter side.
Lovely, thank you. I will say the exact same. I'm all thing, whether it be in an uncomfortable position or not, always helps me get through the day. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next. I'd say I was the 15th one along, the one with the little smiley face and hearts on. I like to think I'm very caring. Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys are stealing all my emojis I wanted. I think I'd be the celebration one because I like celebrating people's achievements and if they get any good news. I'm always down for a party.
Lovely, thank you. And then Sophia.
I think I would probably describe myself best as the little emoji with the little hands, like that. Just because I do have little hands, but I always think it's quite a happy, smiley, fun little emoji to use. And I think that probably best describes myself, because I always like to have a little bit of fun.
Lovely, thank you. For myself, I probably put myself under a few. One of my favourite ones to use is the one with the little cowboy hat, because I just think it's a little bit cheeky and it's just a bit of fun. But then I like this one that's kind of disappearing with the smoke around it. I like to say that one's me at the gym because you'll never see me there. Thank you very much for that. That just kind of helps us get to know each other a little bit and just get to know where we're currently at. We're going to do another little bit of an icebreaker. This one's a little bit trickier, just to get your mind working a little bit before we start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some riddles. I'm going to read them out, and on the screen you can see a graph that has a lot of positions or coordinates on there. Each of the riddle will have an answer, and in each of the boxes will have a corresponding picture that relates to the answer. So I'll give you one as an example to start off with. So, for example, if I say something with bark and no bite, with sun and rain, I can grow to great heights. Anyone know what that might be?
Tree.
Tree, we're absolutely right. So tree, I would then be wanting the answer of tree and then the answer of C3. And I've accidentally turned into Dr. Seuss because I didn't mean for all of that to rhyme, but it does. Are we all okay with the rules of the game? Lovely. So the first one then, I don't need shoes or a dress, yet I always impress. I sing my song whilst combing my hair. Sailors search for me if they dare. Have a think about what that might be. And then once you've got an answer, see if you can see anything on the board that matches what you think. First person to raise their hand, get to give it a go. Hopefully I've not made it too difficult. Oh, Chloe was in there first. Okay.
Is it? I've lost it now. Hang on. Is it G6 Mermaid?
It actually is, yes. Well done. Same answer, Sophia.
Yeah, she just got there quicker.
Lovely, well done. Number 2 then is I have arms and eyes, I can see things far or near, making it much more clear. What am I? Okay. Anybody needs me to repeat any of them, I'm more than happy to. Oh,
I think
Barbara, you're
I've
in there.
got it. Is it
Go on.
glasses? So J4? J4?
It absolutely is, yes. Well done. The third one is I spin round and round, made of rock and water. If I spin any faster, your days will be shorter. Oh, Chloe, that was quick. Sorry, Charlotte. Chloe was in there first. Let's see if Chloe can get this one right.
I don't know if this is right, but is it L3?
It's not L3, unfortunately, because I'd call that
Okay.
one a globe. Oh, Charlotte, that one's down to you then. You're in there next.
Is it K8, Earth?
It absolutely is K8. Yeah, well done. You're on the right track, Chloe, but not this time. The next one then is not club, heart, or spade. Think of me when your ring is made. What am I? Oh, Sophia.
Is it diamond? So E3?
It absolutely is, yes. Well done. Number 5. I start with E and end in G and contain a yellow treasure. What am I? What have I made this one too tricky?
Just trying to find it on the pictures.
Yeah, I've got the answer. Just trying to find a picture.
I know it can be quite small. I should have given out binoculars for everyone.
I think I got it.
Oh, go for it. What do you think it is?
Is it? I think it's egg, and I think it's L6.
It absolutely is, yes. Well done. And then the final one then, I have a face but cannot see and hands but cannot clap. What am I? Oh, Charlotte, you got that one quick, just quicker than Sophia.
Is it clock and then F1?
It absolutely is, yes. Well done.
Woohoo!
Lovely. Thank you very much, everyone. Now that we're all warmed up, we're going to get cracking on with the session, starting with the aims and objectives. If you did have a Word document open, I'm more than happy to notes throughout the session if you would like. So the aim of this session is to become familiar and provide a clear understanding of Orbit's updated sign-off process for training materials. We'll do this by exploring key responsibilities, procedural steps, and compliance requirements to ensure a consistent and aligned approach across all teams. The objectives of the session are to describe the updated sign-off process used within Orbit, including its purpose, and differentiate the key changes in comparison to its predecessor. Understanding the new document put in place to manage sign-off within Orbit, its objectives within the business, and its service level agreement. And then finally, demonstrate the steps of the sign-off process to build confidence and ensure compliance adherence. Okay. So, starting off with the current process. Now, the current sign-off process involves an Excel spreadsheet, which learning and development specialists manage to track the position of a piece of training material in its sign-off process. If you didn't know, the Excel spreadsheet was created in 2019 by a former colleague of Orbit, and we no longer have access to update this document because it was updated in 2019 and it was updated by that colleague. For compliance and auditory reasons, every time a change is made to this document, a new version of the spreadsheet would be saved in a folder to ensure that all of these changes were tracked. As of the 20th of July 2025, we're currently on version 28.8, which constitutes to over 280 versions of this document, all saved locally. The Excel spreadsheet, as a part of the sign-off process, was partnered with sending the training material via email to the subject matter experts or the department heads for it to be reviewed, all feedback to be provided, and for the material to be signed off. Now, each of you, as a part of your role, have been a part of the sign-off process at some point or another, whether you've reviewed material, whether you've created material, or whether you've just processed that material through the sign-off. So I want to start off by hearing your thoughts. So you're all familiar with our current sign-off process that we use within Orbit for our training material. I want your feedback on it. If you've got a phone and you want to scan the QR code, by all means feel free to do so. If not, you can load the website and enter the code on the screen. On there, feel free to use keywords, phrases. Have we all managed to get that up okay? Yeah, perfect. What I'm going to do, just going to put it on screen. So as you're submitting some, we will hopefully be able to see them on screen. Okay. Like I mentioned, if you want to, feel free to use keywords, phrases. How does the process make you feel? Trying to get a little bit few more that through. Oh, a few jump through at the same time. Just give you a couple of more minutes just to put them through. Okay, let's have a work through some of them then. So we've got feedback such as it should be a multi-user platform. The material is always too big to send via email. The tracker is old. There isn't enough time in the day to always complete this. Overused in the business. Excel can be confusing. It's hard to keep up with. We don't have enough time to manage this. SLAs can be missed. Those you don't know what an SLA is. It's service level agreement, and we'll talk about that shortly in a little bit more detail. And we've also got finally outdated. Does anybody feel comfortable in discussing why some of the feedback is as shown?
Yeah, I'm happy to discuss my feedback. So I think overall it's just a really outdated way of signing off material. We've introduced, a lot over the business in terms of our learning management system. To be using an Excel spreadsheet like this, yeah, it's just not great, and it doesn't really work. And it should be a multi-user platform, because there's so many times where I've gone in, I've made changes, I'm still working on it, or I'm still updating those changes, and one of my colleagues has gone into it as well, used it, saved it, and then it's kind of overriding the changes that I've already made. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the current sign-off process.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing, and I completely agree with your frustration, because I know I've been there. I've been working on the sign-off process. I've had the Excel spreadsheet open. I've announced it in the group chat to say that I've got it open. Please, no one use it. Someone else hasn't read that message. They've opened it up. They've saved it, and then when I've saved it, I've either overridden it, or if they've saved it after I did, they've overridden what I'd put. So I completely understand it. It can be really frustrating. Does anyone else feel comfortable? Oh, Sophia, go for it.
So I actually put that I thought the tracker was old, and just
Okay.
taking note of what you mentioned, it was actually created in 2019, so that's been years ago, and there's been about I think 200 versions of it. So if you think about how much information must already be on it now, that could cause issues with its process to function. So it probably could get a lot slower, and probably even take a lot of time to even save. So it could cause issues that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Oh, Chloe again. Go for it.
Sorry. I also just put on as well that because we're using the spreadsheet, we send the material out via email, and often the content that we're actually sending out to get signed off is too large to attach to the email. So we're having to use other methods of sending it, like WeTransfer, which then doesn't, if it's not downloaded within 3 days, they can't access it, so they're having to chase us, and it just really makes the process it just makes it much more longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, I completely agree. You almost feel like you're doing the same job twice, because you're putting it on the tracker where it should be, and then you're having to send it via email. And if we can't send it via email, it just isn't efficient, and it just doesn't work to what the business needs. So thank you very much for that, everyone. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go through some of the feedback. So I've spoken to some of the learning development specialists and managers around the business, and I asked them for their feedback. Some of them you'll actually find share some of the feedback that some of you have mentioned. So we've got ones like multiple chases are having to be sent out. So things like emails being missed. I can appreciate the amount of emails some people receive. I remember speaking to one of the other BPMs, so the business performance managers, and they said on average they get about 250 emails a day. So imagine just one of them emails being for the sign-off process. it's going to really look really less important in comparison to the other 249 emails. So we're having to send out multiple of them. The next one is a slow process, as subject matter experts are timely to respond. Again, we've pretty much given a reason as to why that might be the case, because multiple chases, multiple emails being sent out. The Excel spreadsheet is outdated and doesn't work smoothly, unable to update, exactly like you both mentioned, Chloe and Sophia. It's outdated, it doesn't work, we're having to double up on it. And because we've had it for so long, it's now been just over 6 years. And because there's so many versions, things just start slowing down naturally. Unable to have multiple users, so waiting for users to complete. It feels like the process is twice as long as it should be. And then finally, one user at a time has caused issues with oversaving previous versions. So your frustrations, your thoughts, your feelings about the sign-off process are shared with other users. It isn't just yourself. And that's exactly why this task was the one that I chose to update and to deliver out in this session. So we're going to talk about a little bit more about the sign-off process, starting off with why we use a sign-off, or why do we sign off material in the business. So I want to throw it over to you. Why do you think we use a sign-off process within the business? What's the reason? What's the purpose for it? Chloe?
Well, it's used essentially just to assure that all of our material is compliant and it's up to date with the current business process of what we are expected to train. And because of the sector that we work in, it's so important that it is up to date and we are giving our staff the correct information, and then our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Sophia, what was it you wanted to add?
To me, sign off really is to make sure that everything that we are training and information that we're given has been given the stamp of approval by managers. You know, they are at the forefront, they are the front of operations. So we need to make sure that they're happy with what we're training and what is being delivered on the floor as well.
Yeah, you're both absolutely right. Go on, Chloe, we're going to say something.
So yeah, I was just going to add to that as well. So what Sophia said is great, because yes, we're like, as learning development specialists, we're creating that material, but also we're ensuring that everyone across the business has eyes over it, because if anyone's designed material, you get so kind of bogged down with it that you can proofread it as much as you want. Sometimes you just don't pick up on grammatical errors or information that's not correct. So by having those eyes over it, it is good.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I've done it before, where I've been working on a piece of material and you get kind of tunnel visioned after looking at it for so long. You get stuck in the same mindset. You might think that you've covered everything, or you might think that everything reads well or looks well, but because it might look okay or might read well to you, it might not to everybody else. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Some of the things that I came up with then, so why we use a sign-off process. The first one being compliance. It just means that we're conforming to the rules, the standards that are set upon us by managers, by stakeholders, by regulators within the industry. It's not just the business rules and expectations that we're adhering to. It's due to the sector of work that we work in. It's the whole wider industry. We're having to make sure that we're abiding by everything that they say. Version controls, meaning that we're tracking the progression of a piece of training material to see where it once was to where it is now, and we can see all the steps that it's made throughout that time. Risk management, using a sign-off process minimizes the possibility of risk, as the material is being looked over by multiple sets of eyes before it's being rolled out and trained. Exactly like you said, Chloe. It's being checked over by multiple people, so you don't have that tunnel vision, so one person's not just delivering or creating material that only they think is what's right. It's being checked out by multiple people. It's alignment with business objectives. The objectives that we have are set by our stakeholders in the business, our senior management within the business. That's what they expect us as learning and development specialists to be delivering to all members of staff and to new starters, meaning they're setting that standard, and we're delivering that so that the business can achieve its goals. I mean, stakeholder validation, exactly like what you said, Sophia. It's about accountability. We, as trainers, create material on all topics. We often get referred to as the jack of all trades, meaning we cannot be an expert in every single field. If we create material, it's based on information and requirements that are given to us, and what are expected of us. And then finally, we've got quality assurance. This means about ensuring that the material is accurate, prevents miscommunication, and ensures an even and consistent learning experience for all learners across the business, whether it's experienced staff that have been here for many years and it's an update, or whether it's new staff who are joining the business. So why the change then? From this feedback, I took on the task of creating a new sign-off process to try and tackle the feedback that's been provided by people like yourselves and other people across the business. If there are ever any changes which need to be made, or if you had any further feedback to the process or anything like that, or to the current process, your natural instinct is to deliver that to someone, perhaps the person who owns that material. So if you're ever unhappy with something, you speak up about it, and that's what's been heard. That's something that needs to be changed in the business. So that's why this process is changing. Is we've heard feedback, we're listening to it, and we're working upon it. It also fits in with our business mission, vision, and value, so our MVV, as it's a more streamlined way of working. So the development within the department goes hand in hand with our vision of we find a better way. So I'm hoping that this new process is well received and the start of an easier process for everybody within the function. As a brief overview, on the screen you can see a small gap analysis between the old sign-off process, which was Excel-based that we've already spoke about, and the new process, which is actually going to be on SharePoint. The Excel spreadsheet that we currently use for sign-off was created by a former colleague of the L&D team who used a password for all the data and the formulas within the document. This password was then never shared with the rest of the team, which has caused many issues when we've had faults or incidents with the document, as we've been unable to amend, fix, or update any formulas. This has meant that the documents become outdated, and it requires a refresh and an update now that the team's expanded, the requirements have changed and expanded. The previous version of the sign-off process was also manual emails and saving, which was a laborious task, as they would often be sent from the wrong email address rather than from the Orbit L&D inbox. They were often being sent by personal emails, meaning it was difficult to track the process of sign-off because it wasn't multiple people that had visibility over when things were being signed off. The department heads would then receive that email from a personal email and not understand the importance of the content of that email, meaning it could be put to one side and the service level agreements, or the SLA, would be missed. There will be multiple users who can access the SharePoint at any given time, meaning it will allow a more seamless approach. As previously, we could only open it one person at a time. This means that if we had multiple learning and development specialists who were completing offline work at the same time, it would be difficult to design material and put it through the sign-off process. as you can see, the gap analysis shows that there are fixes from the old process to the new one, meaning that that feedback that has been provided has been targeted and met to ensure that the new process fits your user needs and the business requirements. So, as I mentioned, the new process will be accessible and built through a SharePoint site, which is accessible through a link. I'm actually going to pop the link into the chat for you. And what I'd like you all to do is just open that up and get that bookmarked for me. You can use it on either Excel, not Excel, on Microsoft Edge, or you can use it on Google Chrome. Have we all managed to do that okay? Yeah, perfect. So, SharePoint has actually been chosen to host the new sign-off document because as an L&D function within Orbit, we're familiar to using SharePoint throughout training. We use the site for our daily activity calendar to track our utilization. We have a knowledge hub for one of the departments that we regularly train. So we are familiar with SharePoint, so it makes sense to continue that modern progression. SharePoint is also a site that's provided by Microsoft, meaning that access will hopefully not be an issue, meaning everybody who requires access to the site will be able to access it. SharePoint is a site that's also managed by IT, meaning that there will always be a department on hand for all staff to be able to support with system issues and access, so it will no longer be a person's responsibility. Chloe, did you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, quick question. So, obviously you've mentioned that this is the new process of the sign off, and you've mentioned the document tracker as well. So is this something that is potentially moving to SharePoint 2 in the future, or is it being looked into? Do you know?
At the minute, the doc that we also use after the kind of sign-off process isn't going to be moving onto SharePoint, only because the managers who approved this change for sign-off and approved the change of it going onto SharePoint kind of wanted to see how the process runs on SharePoint first. And I know there are other Excel documents that we use on a regular basis, exactly like the document tracker that you mentioned. And if this goes well, then we may be looking at starting to put other things on a more live version. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The document tracker may be at some point in the future moving onto SharePoint. You can kind of call this like the guinea pig. It's the trial. So this is the kind of first draft, seeing how this goes. If it starts going well, then we'll start looking at making everything digital rather than a physical copy like Excel.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Another benefit of SharePoint is it's no longer going to be one person's responsibility, like I mentioned. It will be managed by IT. It will also allow multiple users to be online at the same time. So all of you have been able to load it up. I've also got it loaded up. So already that's ticked off one of the boxes that the previous sign-off didn't do. We've all been able to access it at the same time. We can all make changes and save it, and it isn't going to affect other users. It will also track previous versions of amendments, meaning everybody's held accountable and responsible for updates and managing that tracker. The link that I have sent you is a link to the live document tracker. There isn't too much that you can do to break it as long as we follow the process that I'm going to go through shortly. All I'm going to say is try not to play around with it too much for now, because I am going to go through some things that you can get to start doing shortly. Does anybody have any questions so far? Are we all okay?
Okay, thank you.
Lovely, thank you. So when you load SharePoint, hopefully this is a screen that you can all see, and you can all see it looks like this. So you're greeted with the front page. This is the same as what I've got on the screen. There's a lot of information just on this opening page. So we have the header at the top of the page and on the right-hand side. That's to ensure that every user knows exactly what SharePoint they're currently using. This will be useful as there's many different SharePoint sites that all look quite similar that we use within the business. We use things like Reports Hub, Power Apps, the L&D activity tracker, utilization trackers. We've also got our policies and procedures all on SharePoint as well. And one of the last things we'd want is for someone to load it up and think that they're going onto one, or actually going onto a different SharePoint site. So always remember, look at the headers right on the front page. The recycle bin is for deleted documents or sign-off forms that have been deleted at any point in the past. Meaning if we require to go back and look at any former information that was put on the SharePoint site, this will be the place to go. We have a list of members on the right-hand side. These are people that have been given access to the SharePoint site, and it will be updated when new people are added. It is important, please try not to add or remove any members to the SharePoint site without permission from one of the learning and development specialists or the learning and development manager. We have a cheat sheet, which I will talk about in a lot more detail shortly. However, this is the document that I created for you to use to know who the heads and managers of each department are. We then have a button aptly named Button, which is a link to the tracker, or we can also see it underneath the header that says Sign Off Tracker. This will take you to the tracker, which we'll go on to in just a minute. Towards the bottom of the page, we then have a list of all of the managers within the business in each department. Now, this is similar to the cheat sheet, but it's a little bit more detailed on here, only because it's live and linked to Microsoft. Therefore, you could hover over each of the names and you can get their email address up. You can contact them on Teams by hovering over their image or their initial icon and selecting the message icon as well. If there are any changes to the management structure, and this is required to change, please report it to the Learning and Development Specialist team or to the Learning and Development Manager, and it can be updated on here as soon as possible. So I'd like to start off by saying that the sign-off process for Orbit isn't changing. The process isn't going to change. It's just where we follow that process is changing. Due to compliant and adhering standards, the process, as I mentioned, is staying the same. So the current process, those of you who aren't aware of it, I want to make sure we all have best visibility as possible, because it can be a lengthy process. And if all of us are aware of it, it will give us a lot more understanding of the role and responsibilities of a learning and development specialist. So it starts off with the learning and development specialist creating training material. The learning and development specialist then adds that newly created material to the sign-off and sends it to the L&D manager for approval. The L&D manager then reviews that material and responds with either feedback for change or a simple approval. The learning and development specialist then works on any feedback and marks the training material as approved. Once it's been actioned, they then send the material over to the subject matter expert. Subject matter expert then gives approval or sends feedback. An L&D specialist works on that feedback and sends it to the operational manager. Same again, and then sends it to HR. Same again, so works on it or signs it off completely, and then sends it off to compliance. Compliance then either approve or sends feedback. Once that has been actioned, the material is now live and is now signed off. Chloe, did you have a question?
Yeah, sorry. It's just want to make this clear for myself. So with the old process, obviously we'd receive the feedback via an email and then we'd action it and go from there and then send it on. So with this, we are still kept kind of in the loop with it and we'll move it on rather than relying on the L&D manager or the operational manager and so on. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. So we're still keeping the process in-house. We are still going to be the one to check this, check for any feedback, and then we'll be the one that is actioning the feedback on the training material, only because the process stands of any training material that's delivered or presented or shared with anyone in the business has to have the L&D kind of stamp of approval, and we aren't in a process to be able to we aren't in a place to change that or give that responsibility to somebody else at the minute. That might change at some point in the future. At the minute, the kind of process is staying the same of we send the material, if they have feedback, we then update it, and we update it on the sign-off tracker as well for now.
Thank you.
Okay. So what I'd like you all to do is to either click on the sign-off tracker at the top or click on the aptly named button called button. I know, it's my favorite part of the page. And what that will then do is bring you to this page. Perfect. So, as I've mentioned before, try not to follow along just for a minute, as I am going to go through some of the steps. If you do want to make notes, or you do prefer to follow along, do feel free to do so. Just when you get to the end, press cancel rather than save. But I am going to give you some time to have a practice and run through in a minute. So, if we press Add New Item, that's going to bring up a GUI. Now, GUI stands for a graphical user interface. This will appear. Now, the questions, if you're familiar with the sign-off process, are going to look similar. So if you're familiar with it, these are all going to look identical to you, as it's the exact same as what's on the Excel version of the sign-off tracker. If you are a department head or somebody who signs off training material, you won't ever be using that Add New Item button. However, just for the exercise, just for the training, it's nice for you to get involved, get used to it, because there may be a time where you create training material and you add it on there alongside one of the learning and development specialists. So that might happen in the future. It's always worth getting used to doing it. So we would then work through and add whatever information is required. I'm just going to go back very briefly just to this section, just so I can point out underneath here, you can see where it says sign off tracker, and we've got this lovely named piece of material here. All training material that has been added will be logged on there in different rows. So you will be able to see all training material that's currently in the sign off process, and we can use the scroller wheel to go left and right, and you can see each column will be filled in when it's aptly used part of the sign-off process. So this current training material is labelled FG NHFG. It was added by Kevin Hill, so myself. It was added on the 20th of the 6th, 2025, and the business area is orbit induction. At the minute, it hasn't been sent off for any L&D. It hasn't. There's no date for L&D to sign it off. There's no due date. It doesn't say whether L&D have signed it off or anything like that just yet. The material has just been logged on there. So on the screen, you can see a list of all the questions. So all the item column, both here and here, are what the questions are asking you as a part of the process. Now, these are all on that GUI that pops up. So you can work your way through and you will add each of these whenever relevant. They don't all need to be answered on your initial time logging the material. You will go back to the document once it's been approved or once feedback's been provided. And similar to the Excel spreadsheet, you can update it if and when needed. There are 4 questions that you will be required to answer. Now, these are ones that are right at the start and they're marked with an asterisk. And you can see I've marked them with an asterisk on here as well. They are the name of the document, your name, who's adding the document onto the tracker, the date the material is being put through sign-off, and the department that the material is for. So that's material, added by, added date, and business area. They are 4 that must be added at any given time. So I'll just use yourself, Sophia, for example. As one of the field trainers for our field agents, if you created field training, you would add the name of the material, added by Sophia, added date would be the day that you've added it onto the sign-off, and the business area would say field. For your initial time adding a piece of material on, you may only be sharing it with the Learning and Development Manager, so you will only input the relevant and correct information for the status of the training. You can then go back through and update each section on the form once each department has signed off the material. You'll notice towards the end of the form, there is an associated files section right at the end. This is where you will attach the training material which has been created and is being sent for sign off. What that means is, say for example, we'll just use the people on this training. If Sophia was to create training material and she was to send it to Barbara to sign off, she would upload it. Barbara would then load the sign off and click on the relevant material and then be able to access the material from there rather than using WeTransfer, rather than sending it via email. All the material is going to be uploaded onto that SharePoint site. So you'll always be able to access it. It will stop that email and WeTransfer process. Anybody have any questions so far? Are we all okay? Yeah, perfect. So we're just going to go through the next slide and then we will go on break if that's okay with everyone. Lovely. So this one is service level agreements. So our service level agreements, our SLA, are also changing within the business. This change has been introduced to align with our mission, vision, and values. Particularly, we find a better way, and we are inclusive and collaborative. This is to ensure a more seamless and streamlined approach across all business areas. The change has been made to encourage all departments in reaching sign-off in a timely manner. There was some feedback provided by some users of the sign-off process, which mentioned the department heads are not always seeing the importance and not signing off material on time, meaning SLAs weren't being met. Barbara, did you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to check. Does that mean that as in operations, are expected to sign off material quicker?
So it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be quicker, because we have multiple options for a service level agreement now. The process is going to be a little bit more fluid, so it's going to change based on the requirements of the training material. So, say for example, if somebody created material for one of our teams, say the Severn Trent Water team, and we've got a Severn Trent Water new starter induction starting in 3 or 4 weeks. That material, I would then contact yourself and say, we've got a new induction starting in a few weeks. I'm going to set this as a shorter SLA, because we want that material to be ready for that new training group. You would then say, yeah, that's absolutely fine, or I would communicate it to the learning and development manager. They would then set that expectation on your weekly meetings that you have with them, just so you're aware of what will be coming. But what that also means is other material that's got a longer or a higher SLA, you can leave and you can kind of put on the back burner, on the bench for now, and you can focus on the more important ones. So we can kind of be a lot more fluid and a lot more flexible. We can choose which ones we want to prioritize, whereas previously everything had a 7-day SLA. So we were sending material out and everything was being expected to be done within a week. And that just wasn't realistic, especially if we had an upcoming induction, like I mentioned. Sometimes you would, or not just yourself, but other departments would sign off other material when you've got time, and you might sign off material that we don't need for 5-6 months. Did that answer your question okay?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So each SLA above is shown for each department to sign off material once it's been sent to them, not for the complete sign off process. So you will discuss and you will weigh the need of that training material in the sign off process and consider, are there any other pieces of material which has a more urgent response or which needs a more urgent response. The SLA that you decide may be the decision of yourself and the learning development manager. It may also change between material. Sometimes you may have material that's outdated, but the content is still correct, but it's just the design that's changed. Therefore, we can still continue to deliver that training material, and we can put that on a longer SLA because we don't really need to change that urgently. Does that make sense? Yeah, perfect. Chloe.
So I was going to ask, how do we know which SLA to set? But obviously you've just explained it will be discussed with the L&D manager and communicated that way, dependent on the urgency. What if, let's just say we set an SLA with Barb's and she has, you know, like an emergency annual leave, something's happened at home, she's got to leave, she won't be back for a few days, but it's 3 days SLA that I've set. Are we able to amend that on SharePoint once set?
Yeah, absolutely. We will go through that shortly. But you're absolutely right with the first part. It's going to be fluid. You will kind of start getting used to knowing which SLAs to use the more we use it. So you'll know if it's urgent material, you'll start putting them at a shorter SLA. If it's less urgent, you'll start using longer ones. And if somebody isn't available to be able to sign off material, we can change the SLA, or we can actually reassign it to someone else in the business who may be able to sign off material in their absence. Perfect. Did anybody have any questions or anything so far before we go on break, or are we all okay? Perfect. So I'm just going to stop the recording there for when we go on break. If you just give yourselves 15 minutes and come back at 3:45. Thank you. Okay, I've just started the recording again now. Are we all okay? Do we all have a nice break?
Lovely, thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Good. Good. Like I just said, the recording is now back on for the rest of the session. Just re-sharing my screen if you can just let me know that you can see that. Yeah, perfect. So just before break, we were talking about service level agreements. Which takes us nicely to the new process. So once you have filled in that GUI, you will be able to press save and you will see that any material that you have added will be saved on that sign-off tracker. Charlotte, do you have a question?
Yes, sorry, I didn't know if you mentioned this before we went on break, but have we got a chance to practice this at some point?
Yes, absolutely. I've just got a couple more slides to go through. Once we've done that, I'm then going to put you into breakout areas where you're going to get to practice in pairs.
Perfect, thank you.
That's okay. So, like I said, when the material has been added, once you press save, they will be logged on there. Here you can just see an example of one that I've added. It says practice material added by Kevin Hill. It's got the added date on there, the business area, who it's been sent to in L&D, the date it was sent, the date it was due. So you can see that's a week after the date it was added. So we chose a 7-day SLA there. And then has that L&D signed it off yet? For this one, it's currently no. And then that's where it is in the process. It's not any further. So once each department responds to the material and hopefully meets that SLA, we can update the material and progress it through the sign-off process. If a department head responds with feedback for the material, we or they can add comments by clicking on the relevant material, as you can see by the red circle with the number 1. The GUI then pops up, which shows you the current process in the training material, where it currently is, sorry, as a part of the sign-off process. And on the right-hand side, you will see a comments box. Now you can see it's circled red with that number 2 on. Any person who's signing off the training material will be able to use that comments box and add in any feedback for changes on there. And then once that's done, you can just close it and then comments will remain on there at any given time. The red circle of that label with the number 3 is just showing where it currently is. And you can see this one is, again, not signed off by the L&D team. So I mentioned the cheat sheet earlier before break. The cheat sheet has been created to support all users of the sign-off document. This has been uploaded onto the front page of the SharePoint under the Documents tab. Learning and Development Specialists will be responsible for keeping the content of this up to date. I'm going to give you 5 minutes just to load this cheat sheet and familiarize yourself with this. So have a look through it, read the contents. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a shout. But I'm just going to give you 5 minutes. If you want to turn your camera off for the 5 minutes, by all means, feel free to.
Kevin, I do have a quick question, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course it is.
So I've read through the cheat sheet that you've just shared with us. When something changes within like the TM leaves or a business performance manager leaves, is it down to operations to update the cheat sheet, or would it be down to you guys?
So the L&D inbox that the learning and development specialists manage actually receives all the JMLs as a part of the business operations. So whenever somebody leaves the business or whenever somebody's a mover of the business, we get notified. So we will be updating it and making sure that all managers, SMEs, BPMs and stuff are current on the cheat sheet.
Perfect, makes sense. Thank you.
That's okay. Okay. Did anybody have any more questions? Was that enough time for everybody? Perfect. So, we are just going to do some practicing in just a moment. I've just got one more slide to cover. All it is just a video of adding on a piece of material through the sign off. There isn't any sound as I've already spoke through it, so it is just a visual. If you do want me to play it a second time, do feel free to let me know and I can play it again. So just gonna play it for you now. Okay. Were we all okay with that video? Perfect. Does anybody want to watch it again, or are we all comfortable with that process? Perfect. The only one thing I'm just going to mention as part of the video, I believe it was just here. So this is for the learning and development specialists that are on the call, and I'm just going to point this out to all of the L&D team. We often receive material sent directly from clients that we're expected to train, so it isn't something that we've built in-house, meaning it can sometimes skip certain sections of the sign-off, so it doesn't have to be signed by learning and development manager because it isn't our design or content. If that is the case, rather than choosing the learning and development manager, you can choose that it was signed off by the learning and development specialist if it's client material only, and then you can go directly to the operational manager or the subject matter expert or operations or HR, whichever one is required as a part of that sign-off process. We all okay with that? Perfect. Lovely. So just before we jump into breakout areas, then does anybody have any questions before we do that? Are we all okay? Perfect. Okay. Did you have a question, Chloe? Or
Yeah, sorry.
sorry.
Just checking, so this process that we've just completed, we have to do this. I know you mentioned obviously the client material, but everything now that we create, we have to now upload to SharePoint and go through this process.
Yeah, absolutely. So the process doesn't change. So the exact same process that you would have put it onto the Excel spreadsheet. So any material that was sent to us from the client, any material that we've designed, rather than putting it onto the Excel spreadsheet, we're just going to put it onto SharePoint as well. What it also means is it's a live version. So it's almost another folder where other members of different departments will be able to access it as well, just to make sure that the material and content are as it should be. Perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open some breakout rooms and I'm going to split you into pairs. I'm going to give you 15 minutes to go through and practice. What I would like is if at least one of you in there can share your screen. As I mentioned at the start, this session is being recorded, so the breakout areas are going to be recorded as well. If you do have any questions throughout, if I'm not in the call with you, do feel free to shoot me a Teams message. But if not, I am going to be popping in and out of the breakout rooms every few minutes just to make sure everything is okay. Are we all okay with that?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm just going to open the breakout rooms for you now.
Okay.
I've just started the recording now for this breakout area. I'm just going to pop myself out just whilst you get yourself started. Like I mentioned, if one of you just share your screen, feel free to talk through it. We should pretend like it isn't being recorded, and I'm going to pop in and just make sure everything's okay throughout. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, I'll share my screen. That's that one. I just need, sorry, excuse me, just to check. Well, we need to just create a blank document, don't we, to upload?
Yeah.
So let me. So, Chloe and Bob's practice. Right, let me save this. Okay. So do you know the first step, Bobs? Where are we going?
Yep, so we want to add a new item.
Lovely. Think of a title, Bobs.
Should we just put Chloe and Barb's practice? Keep it simple.
Okay.
Yep.
And then added by me. Today's date. So for anyone you want in particular for now?
We'll just put 7 Strand Water.
Okay. And then it would need to go to Nikki.
And then I'm guessing that's where the SLAs will be.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, but they are 3 days, 7 days, and 14 days, right?
That's what was on the slides, yeah.
Yeah, so would you, because it's 4 p.m., would you move it to tomorrow as the starting date, or would you do today? Or maybe that's a question for Kevin.
Yeah, I was going to say that's personally, from my point of view, maybe tomorrow, just to give us
Yeah.
extra time to review it. Just
Yeah.
because if that was to come in with a 3-day SLA, that would be tight for my team.
Yeah. Okay. We'll double check with Kevin, but yeah, I would assume we'd go from the next day. We'll come back to that. And then we can't do the due date until then. So it'll be a no because they've not signed it off. And then we skip this, don't we? Because it's not
Yeah,
been
we just want to
signed
go
off.
to the asterisk bit. Don't we?
Yep. Right, live version, so it'd be 1.0. A file location, I'll just get that now. Leave that for now, and then add attachment. And that's, we don't need to apply the label, do we?
Don't think so.
No. Okay. Just wait for Kevin to pop back in.
Yeah.
And then we'll just confirm that date. But it seems like quite an easy process, I think, so
Looks
far.
a lot more straightforward than what it has been previously.
Yeah. That's good. And I think once this is rolled out, it'll just be such a smoother experience.
I'm hoping it means that my team can get back to you guys quicker and it'll be easier to track for my team as well as yours.
Yeah. And like, we all know how busy a team can be, but with an email, it just sits in their inbox, doesn't it? Especially when they're getting ones from the client and so on. So
yeah, it's very easy for it to get missed.
yeah.
Kevin, we had a question for you, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course it is.
So we were just looking at the date for the SLA, essentially. And Chloe raised a good point of, as it's 4 p.m. now, would you put the date as tomorrow? Because I was thinking for my team personally, if the SLA was 3 days and it came in at 4 o'clock, it's then a stretch to get. It's essentially a 2-day SLA at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good question. The SLA would start from first thing tomorrow morning. Then they would have three business days to be able to action anything needed during that time. So I would start it from tomorrow.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, and a very good question. What I will also do, I'll make a point. I'll make a note of that, and I will make sure that that's relayed to the other group as well.
Thank you.
How are you both getting on? Did you have any other questions, or both okay with it so far?
No, I think we're good. That was the only thing that kind of stumbled us because, like Barb says, it's not fair from 4 p.m. the day before to include. I know it would probably work on a 24-hour basis, but yeah, just in case. So yeah, other than that, it's really smooth. I like it.
Okay,
It's very sleek.
good. Okay, I'm just gonna pop out then, and I'll go check on the other room.
Okay. So I'll save it now and see.
Do you know if this one's live already or?
This,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's the training needs to be rolled out and then it will.
Very nice.
But yeah, I panicked then. I don't know if I should have saved, but at least it could be easily deleted.
Exactly.
Do you want to go taking control of my screen, Barbs, or are you comfortable?
I'm comfortable. It looks fairly straightforward.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Lovely.
How have you found it so far?
Been really good. It's good for me to see kind of your guys' side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you've been able to see it as well, Barbs, because you can kind of understand some of our frustrations around like the sign off not being done and how it can hold us back and then hold new starters back and stuff like that.
Yeah, and before you came in, Kevin, I was just saying that it's going to make our lives so much easier on my team because it's all in one place. We're not going to
Nice.
hopefully get it lost like we would if it was in emails like it is now.
Yeah, perfect. So do you think, not to jump too far ahead, do you feel like it's a positive change and it's going in the right direction?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to hopefully make such a difference to my team just because, like I said, it'll be easier for them to keep track of.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, I think, this, so I'm glad it's now being put in place and changes are being made.
Yeah, I didn't realise that the last change was 2019. I was quite surprised by that.
We've still got a few more minutes in the breakout area. If you wanted to, do feel free to share your screen again, give it another go.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do it from your side, Barbs, I'm more than happy for one of you to share your screen and go through and add the comments, load the material as if you would do from your kind of sign off process rather than the L&D adding process, anything like that. Whatever kind of gets you used to using the tracker.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank
Lovely,
you.
thank you. Okay.
Are you okay to share again, Chloe, please?
Yeah. Thank you.
Should we look at the comment point of view?
Yeah,
If
that's a good
okay.
point. I think we didn't know. Yeah.
So would those comments go straight to you guys if I was to just type, or would be that you guys would have to go in to view the comments, or do you not know? Is that a question for Kevin?
Probably a question for Kevin again, but I would assume that they just be, because this is like, because anyone can access it, I think just by clicking it, it will allow you to then view any comments that have been made. But yeah, we'll ask Kevin when he comes back, but just check that it can be viewed correctly. Yeah. Yeah, so it opens okay there. I want to ask about this as well, what this label is. Yeah,
Okay.
just to understand that. But
Yep.
what would you typically put as a sign-off comment, maybe?
Happy with this?
Oh, it'd help if I could spell. We normally see things like that, to be fair. If I just post it, yeah, there you go. So it comes, so I'm guessing if you...
And then just to check, sorry, so if there was any comments that I would leave, just if we need any changes, would it just be a case of comment back, or is there a, so when the three dots go up, is that, okay, no, that's edit and delete.
Yeah,
There's
edit
no
and delete,
response.
but well, I suppose then we could just reply to you and say, actioned, are you ready for it to progress? But typically once someone gives us feedback anyway, it's them saying everything's okay, just make these changes and it can move on. So
Yeah.
you might not necessarily need to like respond to us afterwards, but we'll just probably check in and just make sure that that's sorted. But yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And then it is really easy just to change, isn't it? So
that's really handy.
So let's just say that's signed off, and then we could, if we say the 1st, and then we could enter who would be the SME for your area, just a name.
Georgie Jackson.
And then, so that would be when it would be signed off. So won't count Saturday and Sunday. So if we go for the 6th. Oh no, when would it be sent? So, oh yeah, so if it's, yeah, it would be picked up on the Monday and then 3 days from there, which would be... Oh, the date was throwing me.
The Sunday being on the left is throwing me.
So it would be the 4th, so 1, 2, 3. So it'd be the, is that right? 3 days? 1, 2, yeah. That's really easy.
It's all very straightforward, but it's very nice user interface.
Like sometimes we don't need to get it signed off by HR. We were at a point, I don't know if you remember, a couple of years ago where we were having to get everything signed off by HR and they just couldn't keep up with our material.
I can imagine.
Alongside their other duties. And then compliance, again, it's only like certain things that we need to get signed off. It usually kind of stops at operations.
No, it's very good to see this side of it. Obviously, I usually just get the end side, so it's really interesting seeing this and the changes being made.
Yeah. Yeah. Just wait for Kevin to come back and we'll just clarify. What was the other thing? So, oh, was it the
comments? I wanted to know if the comments get sent straight to you guys, or if you guys then have to go in and pick it up.
Click in, yeah.
Yeah.
What does that do? Oh, that just allows us to edit the whole form.
Oh, sorry, what was that you clicked enter at the top?
Yeah, edit all.
Okay.
So, like, say we uploaded the wrong document. It might be worth sharing that with Sophia and Charlotte, actually, just in case. So you can then literally change that, which is good. I mean, it's apart from that, everything else can be edited, but it's just good to know if we attach the wrong document.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Do you think the rest of your team will like moving on to this?
Some may struggle because some don't like change and will, just technology wise, I think some may struggle, but I think overall in the long run, it's just going to save so much headache. And like, Kevin or I can go through it with them now that we've had this training. How do you think the managers will work with it on your team, say, for example?
I think similar to your team, there's people that don't like change, but I'm hoping it'll be received well, just in terms of less email traffic, it's a cleaner place to keep track of it and kind of go in and see where you're at and what needs doing when. And the different SLA dates is going to be a massive help to my team as well, because then not everything's, if there was a couple of pieces that go through it the same day, it's not all the same deadline, hopefully. Obviously, if they're all urgent, then they might be, but there's the likelihood, which is good.
Yeah, and well, we can have that conversation beforehand as well, like in our weekly meetings, to say, we're working on this, it's going to be urgent, just give your teams a heads up, so it's going to work well.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. Hey,
Hello.
Kevin.
Hello, are we both okay?
Just got a quick question whilst you're here. Barbs, you ask yours first.
Okay, so my question was just in terms of my team when they're leaving the comments and stuff, do the comments get sent to you guys or the person that added it straight away, or is it a case of you have to go in and view it, if that makes sense?
Perfect question, and I'm glad you asked, because Charlotte in the other group has just asked the exact same question. So at the minute, it doesn't ping across to the person who's been mentioned. However, this process, as this is just the first draft, I'm currently working with the app development team, and something like that, if you feel like that would be useful. Say, for example, if we was to mention yourself, say, and say, you've got material that's due soon, please can you review it on there, we would want you to get some kind of push notification in relation to that. So that's something that if at the end of this training, when I give you the feedback form, if that's something you'd like to be implemented, feel free to leave it on there, because then what I can do is I can raise that to the app development team and say, this is something that's been suggested.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
That's okay. Was there another question?
Yeah, I don't know if I missed this, but is this something that should be used, this supply label, or not?
It isn't, no. So that's something that we haven't been able to remove off the GUI just as of yet. I'm currently waiting for a response from the app development team for the last one to just say associated files. That apply label isn't relevant for us at the moment.
Okay. And then, like, we've added a comment here. So my other question, if you knew, was, like, obviously here, if you click into it, you can see all of the comments. Will these remain here whilst the materials in the process are being signed off?
Yes, yeah. So any material that gets added, nothing will ever get removed. So any comments that are on there will be expected to stay on there up until the very end of sign off. Then it gets removed from the current sign off into the live tracker, and then them comments will then be removed because they're no longer relevant.
Thank you.
Okay. The other group are about finished as well. Are you two done and ready to rejoin the main group, or do you still need some extra time?
Could I just have one more practice, and then just want to make sure I've got it, and then we'll be back.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
No problem.
Right, I'm just
We're just
gonna
going to use the same document.
Yeah. So add new item. And then if we'll do 7 days this time. And it's just attaching at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
And
then,
then file location.
well spotted. There we go. And then, yeah, that's everything, isn't it?
Oh, no, live version. Need to pop that in as well.
Well remembered. We're just 1.1. Happy with that?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, and then save. That's it done. Fabulous.
Looks good.
Yeah. Do you reckon I should delete them?
Yeah.
And then we'll have a look at them in the recycle bin. Yeah, that's cool. Right, shall we go back?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he says
Yep.
30 seconds remaining.
There we go. Oh, yeah, just let it count down.
Thank you for sharing your screen. Very good.
No worries.
Okay, so I've just started the recording now for you for the breakout area. Like I said, you've got 15 minutes. Feel free to work between the two of you. Give it a go. Get some things added onto the sign-up tracker. If you've got any questions throughout, I will be popping in and out. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
perfect. I'll get going now.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thanks. Right. So, do you want to do it through the button or through the sign-off tracker?
Let's do through the button first, I think.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Right. And then add new item.
Yeah.
What should we call it?
Shall we call it like practice induction material? So that we know it's like practice, but we'll just pretend it's like an induction material for orbit, maybe.
Yep, had to think how to spell practice then. Good start.
There's a lot of pressure when we're using new things, so
Yeah, and when you're sharing. Put it under you.
yeah, definitely.
And then,
Today's date,
yep, business area.
orbit induction.
That'd be Nikki. And then, are we in a rush for this or not?
Let's put it for tomorrow. So say we've created the material today, but we're going to send it off for sign off tomorrow, for example.
Yep.
And then the due date, we could put in what was the SLA? It was 3 days, 7 days,
7 days,
14.
40. Yep.
So should we do a week? Should we do for the following? So do the 6th? Do a week then?
Do a week. And
No.
then, no, she hasn't done that yet. We haven't signed it off. Hasn't been sent to the SMEs. Hasn't been sent to operations yet.
No.
Hasn't been sent off to HR or compliance. And then I'm guessing because it's the first one, it'll be 1.1, won't it?
Yeah. Or 1.0, for example. Yeah,
Yeah.
either one is fine.
I'm going to have to come up with a
we could do something like let's think.
I can use one of my risk ones
Yeah,
just to make it a bit different.
absolutely.
Then we fill this bit in, don't we? The L&D tracker updated.
Yeah,
we-
so that's because after every time we sign up a material, we have to keep log of what's happening with it. So yeah, absolutely, we would have, in theory,
Updated the tracker.
Yeah, updated the tracker, get that set up.
And then I won't attach any files.
I don't think we need to fill that out.
No. I was just intrigued to see what the label was.
You're right. Is that the bottom of it now? Yeah, cancel it, don't press save. But it's just to play around. But if you go to his on practice material for sign off tracker, if you click that, you've also got the comment box, haven't you, that's open. So that's where when we've set the material, so say we save that and we've got material, then we can kind of, if there's any updates, so say 3 people need to sign it off, for example, we could then add comments to say that somebody set it up or somebody's approved it, or maybe that we've had to chase for an approval, so we can do it that way. So that was kind of a way for you to figure out what stage it's at, because not everybody replies at the same time, so it's really good to have those in there.
And it's good you can use the app mention as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a good way, like I said, of keeping track of what's been done, what hasn't been done. And then you're not, because if you think about it, you could be like creating 5 different materials and then you don't always know who's signed off what, who's got in contact about what. So it's a good way to keep track of that too.
Hi both, we're both okay.
Yep. I did have a question.
Go for it.
So, you know the supply label at the bottom? I know you didn't talk us through putting anything on it, but I saw it said no and then personal data. Would there ever be any time we put personal data onto there?
There isn't, no, because at the minute it's unable to be removed from the SharePoint adding process that we're currently practicing.
Yep, just wanted to double check.
Yeah, absolutely fine. Did you have any other questions or anything whilst I'm?
Yeah, are we still? I know when we were looking at it earlier, we were told to cancel it. Are we saving it, or can we save like an edited or practice version and then we can play with it that way?
Yeah, by all means, feel free to play around with it as much as possible. Add as many different documents you want on there. Like I said, don't add anything with any personal information, but more than happy for you to add stuff on there, save it, go back in and edit it after. Because what I'm going to do at the end of the training session anyway is go through and delete any documents on there that aren't needed.
Okay, perfect. We'll just give that a go then and have a play around with that. Thanks for that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so let's go back into add new item then.
Yep.
And let's just give that a go and just, should we do like, so we just put our names for it?
Yep.
Yeah, so we could just put our names, practice. And then let's actually see what it looks like when we save it then.
Do one from Nikki. Business stream. Nikki can add one that she's then got to sign off.
Yeah, and then we could do the same where we could put that it's tomorrow's date and then we're going to put the due date for 7 days SLA. And then, yeah, getting the hang of it now, aren't we?
Yeah. Is this a lot easier than your Excel?
Yeah, so with the Excel spreadsheet, when you first come into the business and like you make material, it's very difficult sometimes to figure out what has to go where, and it's really important that you get those correct, because that is the main tracker to figure out what's happening with everything. But when you look at it, you think, oh yeah, that should be fine. But then when you're actually in a situation where you need to fill it out, sometimes when you're on your own and you've got no support next to you, it can be quite daunting. Whereas I feel like this is a lot smoother because I feel like there's better prompts. And I feel like if I'm not sure about something, I can look at it and go, does that fit what I need? No, it doesn't. So I'm not going to put anything for that. So I feel like it can help guide me better.
It does seem a lot better, especially with all, like you said, the prompts at the bottom. It sort of guides you through.
Yes. And a lot of the stuff, again, if you're not sure, you can say, hi, do I need to enter anything for that? And then someone can say no. And you kind of know what's for you and what's not, because it's really clearly, you've got one for compliance, you've got one for HR, you've got one for operations. So it really does help know which sections you need to fill out. And again, if you leave something blank and it needs filling, it's going to give you an error message. Whereas,
tell you.
yeah, the Excel spreadsheet doesn't always do that, and so you can easily miss stuff then. So it makes it a bit difficult to figure out where you've gone wrong as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, again, especially starting a new role, there's a lot going on, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've needed something like this for a very, very long time. So I know the tracker did work before, and it has, once you get the hang of it, it does work. But I just think we're ready for something new and fresh. And this is exactly, I think, what we need, something like this. And it's not taken too much. We've had a few slides explaining what it is for, how to use it, a little video, and we've already been able to add a document with ease.
Yeah,
So,
especially since I've only briefly touched upon the sign-off process, so I've been quite near the end of it for like policies and stuff. So if I can pick it up, then it's very simple to use.
yeah, because I was going to ask, like, if you had to fill this in, for somebody who has never probably done the full start of it, you've probably been, like you said, at the end of it, where you maybe just sign it off for approval and go, yep, all good on my end. Would you feel comfortable using that?
Definitely. With
Yeah.
all the prompts, and like it flows really well as well. So obviously you start at the top, put the title in and stuff, and then you've got the dates, when it was sent to you, and then the comments as well. So if I was struggling and needed to reach out to anyone, I could just put a comment on here. It's going to take them exactly to where they need to be, and they'll know which training material you're talking about, because with all the, like Kevin said, you BPMs can end up with 250 emails. So if you're just sending one email that's just like, oh, I need signed off for this, I can imagine it gets lost, and two, with how many training materials they've got to sign off, I can imagine it can get quite confusing, and for you guys as well, because I can imagine you have lots and lots of training materials to sign off and chase up, and all these different people, because I never realized how many different people you actually had to go and get signed off from, and how much you actually had to track with it.
Yeah, and for me, I didn't actually know everybody yet, so having that cheat sheet is a really good way for me to kind of go, okay, am I including everyone? Does everybody have that in place? But then I really like the fact that with the old tracker, we're kind of held accountable to making sure that's filled out and everything's sorted. Whereas I like here, because yes, we can still take over and be accountable, but if somebody was from operations confident enough to edit it and say, yeah, I've signed it off, I'm happy with that, they can do it themselves. It's just a really fresh process, and I think it's really what the business needs at the moment. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, I won't pretend like I wasn't eavesdropping, but what a lovely conversation to jump into. Thank you so much. It's really nice to hear.
It's like your ears were burning.
Yeah, they definitely were.
Yeah, we were just talking about we're like me and Charlotte are from different parts of the business. So, I mean, I said, if you ever, because she's always been at the end of it, trying to approve the processes, so she doesn't really go through the whole start to finish. She's just at the end. I said, if you had to, would you be comfortable using this? And you said yes, didn't you? You said you felt like it was comfortable to use and easy.
Yeah, especially with all the prompts, sort of guide you through, and it makes logical sense with the way you do it as well. And like I said to Sophia earlier, I didn't actually realise how many different sign-offs and how many different people you had to go get it signed off, so it can get quite confusing, especially with all the different training materials I'm sure you guys have to do.
Yeah, it's nice having people from outside of the business getting to see the kind of process that we go through, because we can sometimes feel like we're pulling our own hair out, and other areas are like, oh, it's easy, you're only sending something off for sign off. But then something like this, where you're getting the exposure of what we actually do on a day-to-day basis, and getting to know the stresses of having 6 different teams sign off one piece of material. And at any given time, if you didn't know as well, another bit of information for you, we actually have over 1,000 individual training documents that we use at any given time. So
Oh, wow.
all of them have gone through the sign-off process. So you can imagine like how much this will actually get used.
Yeah, and with the spreadsheet that you was explaining earlier and the version control, and say like if you was editing it, but then Sophia went into it, and I'm sure you're not going to be sure what changes have been overwritten. So say if you're both in it at the same time editing it, and Sophia changes it, and then suddenly you've got to overwrite it by accident or something, then I can imagine it does get very confusing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
puts a lot of pressure, I think. Well, I certainly felt a lot of pressure because it's very important that you don't kind of mess it up, because it's very difficult. Like you said at the beginning, we can't really fix it if it goes wrong. You have to kind of spend a lot of time like going back and forth to try and figure out where it's gone wrong and amend it, but it's really, really difficult to even do that. So for me, sometimes there was a bit of reluctancy to actually fill the sign-off tracker myself. Whereas with this, I really enjoy that I can easily do it myself. And if there is an issue with something, it can be edited. And that gives me comfort, because if I do, human error is a thing that it just happens. It's going to happen all the time. Nobody can be perfect. So having that as like a safety net really is giving me more confidence to take more forward steps to be able to doing it on my own.
Yeah, good. It kind of gives you to me, it kind of gives you the comfort of, I can just take that risk, because if that risk doesn't pay off and I do make a mistake, knowing that it can be backtracked, and you aren't going to be the person to be the be all or end all, because that end all doesn't really exist, because that can be erased. So hopefully, exactly like you said, it's going to give you and any future users that comfort to just go in and do it. And it's just a learning curve for everybody. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I can imagine with the associated files here, whatever changes you make, say like if you upload your PowerPoint presentations with your training on, any changes that are made once you've opened it are also saved onto this as well.
Yeah,
So that would be good as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's all live. So anytime material gets changed, material gets added, it updates on there straight away. So we're not having to go back and send another document after. It's all already on there. Everyone already knows how to access it. Everyone already knows what it's called. So it makes it so much smoother.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you can add a comment, because you could easily put in there and say, page 467 has been amended, please check. Or do you know what I mean? And at the people that need to check that first, because like me and Charlotte were saying, if you're getting 200 emails, you're going to miss things like that. But this is something you can have open in the background, and it can be checked. And so if you have got a spare minute, you can go, oh, okay, I just need to check slide 4, 6, and 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's going to make their lives easier, our lives easier, and I think it's going to speed up the process immensely.
Yeah.
If you add a comment, so say like if you at Jade Clark, because I saw she was one of the BPMs, will it send her an email or a notification or something just to let her know that there's a comment been left for her?
Fantastic point. At the minute, it isn't. However, later on in the training, I'm going to talk about the next steps. And I'm currently working with the app development team that are going to start implementing stuff like that. And if you think something like that would be useful, by all means, at the end, on the feedback form, do feel free to get something like that added, because anything that you can add that you feel like would make this process easier, I'm more than happy to take that on and raise that to the app development team to say, this is a really good thing. We'd like this added to.
Okie dokie, will do. Thank you.
No problem. I'm just gonna pop off and checking on the other group. Are you? We've only got a couple of minutes left. Are you two okay? If once I've checked on them, to get these rooms closed and
Yeah.
rejoin the main call.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
I actually think this is going to be a really, really good addition, and I'm
It
really
seems like
excited.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and I think when the more people are actually in a position to start going through the training on this, we're going to have more eyes on it, which means, like Kevin said, the more we can figure out what can be added to it to make it better, the more we can all kind of come together and actually create something that's going to be incredible.
That works for everybody, because I
Yeah.
can imagine it's something that works for you guys in L&D might not necessarily work for operations, but with everyone, like you said, everyone having eyes on this, this seems like a really good positive step in the
Yeah.
right direction.
And as well, it helps when you don't have any experience with the previous tracker, you're going to have questions that probably I wouldn't even think of. Or, you know, if you were with Chloe, she has been in the role longer, so she may have thought of everything and not thought of what you might think of. So it's always good to have those kind of questions, and even if they're simple answers as well, it just kind of goes, actually, but could we make that a different process, or could we add something in there for that? So absolutely, it's really, really good to have these breakout rooms.
Definitely. I'll stop sharing just in case he calls us in.
Okay.
I take over his PowerPoint.
No worries. No worries. I hope Chloe and Barbara have found it as kind of easy as we have. I wonder if they've had the same questions or.
Oh yeah, because Barbara will know it from a BPM, won't she? So she'll probably have different questions and stuff from what I have.
Yeah, but it might be the same as you, because even though they sign off stuff, they don't deal with the sign off tracker. So you might find that they would have similar questions to you, because they're normally at the end, like you are.
Yeah.
So it might be similar. So
I think it was good that we were both split off with a separate, like I was with you and Barb's was with Chloe, so we've both had a trainer in with us as well.
yeah, which is great, because it's nice to have different conversations with people. And again, sometimes it's conversations that me and Chloe might have might not expand as far. Like, we know a lot about the stuff that we use, but because we're so used to it, we might not always just be able to push ourselves to think outside the box. So it's always good to have integrated chats, and it's good to have chats with people that are from like different walks of life too, isn't it? So
Definitely.
but yeah. I'm just looking at the sign off tracker now, and yeah, I can't explain it, but essentially it is a lot clearer when you look at it on the new sign off tracker to what it is now.
I can imagine once it all starts getting filled in, like after it's been to L&D and when it goes to SMEs, so you'll be able to see like the greens from when it's been signed off to then the reds for no, so you'll be able to easily see.
Yeah.
And it looks like you can also filter it, so you'll be able to see which one, like you can filter just to see the no's, so you'll be able to easily see which ones, because I can imagine once you've had like 200 on here,
Absolutely.
then having that filter will definitely help as well.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to break down the process even more, because on Excel you have different tabs for things. So this, it's all kind of, yes, you create it, but then it's all on the one tab. So you don't then have to, you still have to search through it, but it's going to be easier to find what you want on that single piece of document. Whereas with an Excel spreadsheet, the more information that you have, you're going from left to right. So then everything's compressed together. It makes it harder to actually figure out where you're looking. So it's just, the new tracker, I think, is really, it's really user friendly. And I think, like you said, anyone can use it.
And it'll be much quicker because once you put so much information into Excel, it does run a lot slower.
Exactly.
Well, welcome back. How did we all find that?
Yeah, I found it really interesting. Sorry, because like I was saying to you, Kevin, when you came into our breakout room, I'm usually on the end of the sign-off process, so I didn't realise like how many different people and departments you've got to send it for sign-off, and how much work you guys have actually got to do to get one piece of training signed off. But this seems like it'll be a massive improvement, especially with all your prompts and stuff, because I'm quite, like I said, I haven't really seen anything, and I found it quite easy to add stuff to this tracker and just follow in all the different prompts that you've put down. So yeah, you've done a really good job with this.
Thank you. It's good to hear. Sophia, I'm going to come to you in just a second. Chloe, did you have something that you wanted to say first?
I was just going to say, me and Bob's were just talking about how much like pressure this is going to take off not only her team but also not necessarily pressure on us L&D, but it just makes it much more of a smoother process, so we're not having to waste time chasing stuff up. And obviously managers have different workloads, different days, lots of things will happen, so having the new SLAs in place as well is going to make it a really much better process.
Good. It's good to hear. Thank you. Sophia.
I was really curious to see what Chloe thought of it, just from being in the role so long and obviously using the previous tracker, but you've kind of answered that already. So just a little insight onto how I feel with it being such a new member to the team. I was saying, as you know, Kevin, in the breakout room, that there's so much pressure to get it right with the old tracker, because if it goes wrong, it goes wrong really, catastrophically. Whereas this is kind of like a safety net. It really does make you feel a little bit more relaxed and even more confident to even use it, because you know that it's not the be all and end all, and you can actually resolve any wrongs that you've made. And it's just going to be more user friendly for somebody like myself who's not been familiar with the old tracker for very long. I would definitely be leaning towards using this 100%. Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much for that. I'm glad. It makes you feel a lot more comfortable with it, because that the whole idea is simplify it, make it easier, make people not scared to use it, because it can be quite a daunting, longer process. Chloe.
Just something that I just wanted to share with everyone, just in that I'm hoping that you were able to find it. But once you've uploaded something, me and Barb's found there was an edit all button, which all the boxes you can change anyway, but what it allowed you to change is the attachment. So if you've uploaded the wrong document, like say the wrong version, it's an older one rather than the newest one, it can be easily changed. So I love that, because this just seems so like forgiving. So if you do make a mistake, it's easily fixable.
Lovely. Thank you. I'm glad you shared that. Barbara.
I just wanted to quickly say that I'm very excited for the change in terms of my team. It's just going to be a lot easier having it all in one place for them. They can go in and review it wherever, and it's all in one place rather than them giving file paths and getting confused and also losing their email. So very excited for this to come out to the team.
Good, thank you. I'm just going to relay a couple of questions that were asked in either of the rooms. One of them, both of you asked, so I got that answered. In Chloe and Barbara's room, they asked about the comments on the right hand side. So Charlotte and Sophia, just so you're aware, when comments get added on the right hand side, they will stay on that throughout the whole sign off process. So say for example, if Barbara was to sign something off and as the business performance manager, and it was then to move over to the head of operations, them comments will remain on there. So the head of operations will be able to see that Barbara has had interaction with that as well, and they will stay on there throughout the whole sign off process. Another thing was about SLA. So say, for example, you were working on putting a piece of material through the sign off today. Obviously, it's now 4:30 in the afternoon. If we was to use today as one of the SLA days, they've only really got a couple of hours left to the end of today. So I suggested SLA would start from the following morning. So if you was putting a piece of material through for 7 days as an SLA, for example, I would start it from Wednesday morning and give them until next Wednesday. Are we all okay with that? Perfect. So if it's okay with each of you, I'm just going to move on to the next couple of slides because now that we've done that, that's actually the hardest part of it. So I'm glad you've all found it nice and easy because that's the hardest part. That's the biggest chunk. But there is something called adding a rule on SharePoint. So now that you know how to add a piece of material onto the sign-off tracker, the next step for the sign-off process is to add a rule to the SharePoint site. Now, this is the start of the autonomy process. And what that does, it will automatically send an email out to the receiver to let them know that the material is due for reviewal for them to sign off. We could go even a step further when it comes to adding a rule and add multiple rules. Now, I'm so sorry for people like Charlotte and Barbara if you're on the receiving end, because intentionally what I can do is I could add a rule on for multiple days. So you could receive a daily email to say that this material is due for review. We won't do that, hopefully. The only time I would suggest doing something like that is, say, for example, we've got a training group that's starting in a week or so's time, and we've agreed on a team meeting or on a business-wide meeting that this business change has to be rolled out within a week, and each team has to then review it. I could then send out multiple reminders in a short period of time. But normally, for me, I would say if you've set an SLA for a week, I would perhaps do one for 7 days, then one for 5 days, then maybe one for the day before, and then one for the day of. So how to add a rule then? So the steps are on the screen with pictures, but you're looking for that automate drop down button at the top of the page, and you're then going to hover over that rules button, and you're going to press create a rule. A GUI box will then appear, and you're going to press a date approaches, meaning that something will happen automatically when a date is approaching. Okay, so this will then pop up here. I'm just going to zoom in on the Teams call just for a minute. I will zoom out so you can, if anyone's still making note for it. But here we can see it says enter a number, days before, choose a column, and then send an email to enter a name. So using this, we could put a 7-day SLA. So 7 days before, and then I would choose one of these, and I would start from due date, SME, due date operations, due date HR, due date compliance, or due date L&D. So I could say 7 days before the due date for learning and development, send an email to Nikki Kimber. So 7 days before that's due for review, send an email to the person who's going to be reviewing that document. And we can do that for any team, any person who is due to review that material. We can get that added. Like I said, you can go through and add multiple rules on there, or you can just go through and just add one depending on the need for that material. Gonna play a video. Again, there's no sound to this. This is just a step-by-step example of me adding a rule, exact same format as the previous one. Okay, so you can just see that towards the end of the email, there was 2 ways to add people. If you know the full email address, you can enter the full email, or you can do what we did there. We're starting to type in the start of someone's name. If it comes up on the suggested, by all means, don't waste your time. Don't type in that full email. Go straight on to clicking that user, and then once you've done that, you can then press create, and that will then create that that automatic flow for you, that automatic rule, sorry. And then that rule is then added forever. And if at any point we need to change it or delete it, we can get that deleted. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about adding a rule? Are we all okay with the process? Oh, Chloe.
So let's just say, for example, we set like a 7-day SLA. You might want to do one on like day 7, just so they're aware they've got 7 days. Could you then do one for like 5 days, 3 days? So we're not harassing them, but obviously because managers are so busy, they lose emails. So if we reminded them on the day it was sent and then a couple days after, is that something we can do?
Yes, yeah, we have free to be able to do that. I will say each of the managers are going to be preloaded on there. So say, for example, we'll use Barbara. Barbara signs off a lot of our operational material that we use in some of the departments. So Barbara is already on there as a rule, saying 7 days before something's due under her name, it will automatically send an email. If you wanted to, as a precautionary effort for another bit of material that you added, or if you were to do a lower SLA or a higher SLA, you can go on and add multiple. Normally, you won't have to add rules on every single piece of material that you add, because the majority of the time we'll be using a 7-day SLA anyway. However, now that the SLAs have changed, if you're doing any of the bespoke ones like 3, 5, or 14 or 21, I would then want you to go on and add them rules. And by all means, if you wanted to add multiple rules, as long as you're aware and you can appreciate someone like Barbara, who's probably already getting 250 emails a day, as long as we're not contributing that, and we don't want to be harassing people, exactly like you said. But a reminder email is absolutely appropriate. Yeah, did that answer your question? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So what we're going to do then, I'm going to put you into your breakout rooms again. I'm only going to give you 10 minutes for this breakout room. If you want to, and you feel like you need to, do feel free to practice adding a piece of material on again. But if you feel completely comfortable with that, do feel free to skip that section and just go on and just practice adding a rule. But the end goal of this breakout room is to practice adding them rules on. Don't worry about it. Like I said, at the end of this training session, I am going to go and go through and delete all of the rules. So we won't be bombarding loads of people with loads of different emails. But do feel free, if you want to, use my name, send me as many rules as possible, and I will just go through and delete every single one of them emails if I do receive them. Perfect. Are we all okay if I open up the breakout rooms now? Perfect. Like I said, I will just pop in the rooms to start off with, just so I can start that recording again if they haven't started automatically. Okay, so I've just started the recording for you. Like I said, you've got 10 minutes. If you do have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a shout. But for now, are we both okay with what it is we need to do?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll just see myself out and I'll pop back in throughout. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so shall we practice adding a rule on?
Yeah.
And then we can do the process from start to finish if you want, just to make
Yeah,
sure we're
that
comfortable.
would be really good actually.
Okay, so right, so is this one? Do we go here?
Automate, yeah.
Yeah.
Then rules. Create rule. A date approaches.
Yeah. So should we do 7, 5?
7.
7. And then if we do due date L&D, and then Kevin. There we go. It's really simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
Next one
wonder
we'll try with the email address.
I
So you
just
can try
want.
too.
I just wondered if we could. That's interesting. So should we create that one?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So they already get a notification when it's assigned to them. Nice.
That's very good.
Do you want to do the process from start to finish?
Yeah.
Right, let's delete.
Oh, actually, that's a good point. If you delete that one now, will it also delete the rule with it?
That's good. Now I've highlighted it. There we go. So if we delete that.
Yeah.
And then let's check the rules. No, it's still there. So that's good to know, because if we do remove material, we'd need to turn off the rules as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll turn that off for now and then we'll go back. Right. Let's go from start to finish. Right, we'll just do the same title.
Yep.
I cannot spell today.
It's the pressure.
From tomorrow, here you go. And then just do Friday. And then oh no, I was meant to send it from tomorrow, wasn't I? And then
Yeah.
date due. You work it out for me, Bobs.
Which one are we doing? 3 or 1, 2?
We'll do 7 working days.
Okay, go the 8th then.
8th.
Yeah.
And no.
Actually, when we were going through it the last time, I just want to say, you know, when you got to the bottom and we forgot the live version one.
What would happen?
Yeah, I was going to say, could you just see if you press save now, would it flag or will it?
Let me just add that and we'll paste the file path. Let's try and submit.
And if you save.
Yeah,
No,
right,
okay,
that's good because can't forget them.
No.
Save. Right, so that's done. And now if we do the rule again.
Automate. Approach. Oh.
So the list has a maximum number of time-based rules already. Oh. Something we might need
If you go on to the manage rules thing where we saw that.
And just remove.
Yeah, I was going to say, rather than just turn it off. But I don't know if that's an option, if you can delete it or not.
Yes.
Oh, you can. Okay.
That's good to know, Kevin.
No.
We've just stumbled upon something interesting. I'll just show you.
Two things interesting.
Yeah,
So we've added a rule and then we've deleted it and just done the whole process from start to finish.
Okay.
And we're now adding a rule onto this one. Automate rules, create rule. See, it says here the list has a maximum already.
Okay.
So we've gone back and we thought because we set this one up just now for you and then deleted the material, we thought by turning it off that would be okay, but it's not. So we've gone on to here and all you need to do is just click delete rule.
Yeah.
And then I'm free to go. It's good, isn't it?
Perfect. That's good.
Worth mentioning as well, sorry, when we did the first one, we added the rule and then deleted the I guess whatever this
the material.
Yeah, we deleted the material, and the rule didn't delete; it stayed on. So it's just worth reminding to go in and delete it or switch it off, whichever one. But if they don't do that, then obviously my team will get reminders for material that's not there if they do delete it and start afresh or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good point. Thank you for that. What I will do is as well, because as you can see, if you clicked on that manage rule section on the automate bit, it does say that we can create up to 15 rules. I'm unsure as to why it's only allowing a few, but we've still been able to practice it. I will take that back, and after this session, I will go to the app development team and just query that with them.
I wonder if Sophia and Charlotte have tried to do the same rule. Maybe that's it, but it's worth querying anyway. But yeah,
absolutely. Other than that, are you both okay? Have you both been managed to sorting out okay?
Yeah, like and even when we've come across issues, we've been able to just figure it out. Like it's so easy. So I really like it.
Good. Okay, I'm just going to go back and check on the other group. Okay.
Okay. I wonder if I can do one for myself. I can. Interesting.
There you go.
I'll just put one on for me just in case Nikki gets bombarded.
Do you want to see if you can put you and Kevin and submit it?
Good idea. No, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not letting me.
Try removing one of you, see if that lets you then, because then that will let you know.
It might be because I'm in it. Let me try Kevin.
Is it because it's just not live yet?
Maybe, yeah. Oh. Let's. Might be. Was this one? Yeah, Sophia's created a fourth one. Let me delete this one Kevin's done. It might only allow us to set up 4 as a team.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just do Nikki. Yeah, I think that's it. So as a team.
Okay.
yeah, that just needs sorting without dev. But other than that, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else you want to go over? I think we've got just under a minute left.
Yeah, no, it looks all straightforward. It's very easy to follow, very user friendly. So
Yeah, very good. If Kevin comes back in before the 40 seconds ends, I'll just let him know about those rules.
yeah.
Hello.
Hello, how are we both?
Not bad, you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you.
Good. I think as a team we can only create 4 rules. Because
Okay.
I then tried to do one with Barb's and it wasn't letting me save it at all. But I removed an old one I think you'd set up and then it allowed me to do this top one with Nikki. So yeah, just something to speak to AppDev about.
So,
But yeah,
I'll make a note of that and I'll raise that to the app development team. Thank you for that.
no worries.
Go on, were you going to say something?
No,
Sorry.
no, sorry.
Other than that, how have you both found it?
Really helpful. It looks really straightforward and very user friendly. It looks like it's going to be a great improvement.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love it. It's going to be so helpful.
Good, good. And it's nice, similarly to what we said after the first breakout room. I know people like yourself, Barbara, who won't be using this, but you seeing it and having visibility of it, I'm sure probably gives you a greater appreciation as to everything that the L&D team are doing. But also, if we do happen to scout and steal any of your team and they come over, they're going to know how to use it instantly, which is going to make our job even easier, which is nice for us.
No, it's very good to see your side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to give the team the other group a couple of more minutes just because they had a delay in starting for some technical issues. So they've got another 2 minutes. I appreciate you've already been in here for 10 minutes. If you did want to go and get yourself a drink, or if you wanted to just turn your cameras off, you're absolutely fine. And then in 2 minutes, at bang on 5 o'clock, um, I'm gonna close the rooms and call you back in. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so I've just started the recording for you now. If you do have any questions throughout, please don't hesitate to send me a message. If not, I will be popping through anyway. But are you both okay with what it is we're doing for the next 10 minutes?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
No problem. Just going to pop myself out, okay?
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, shall I share my screen this time?
Yes, makes sense, doesn't it?
Okay. Let me get that up for us. Can you see that?
Yes.
So, are we feeling confident with adding a new item, all that sort of stuff? Yeah.
Yep, unless you want a chance to do it, because I realised I hogged the last breakout room and did it all when I'm not the one using it, you are.
No, I'm happy with what we did together. It's pretty straightforward, so for me, I'm happy with that. However, I am quite interested to see how the rules work.
Yep.
It was automate, wasn't it? And then rules, create a
Yep,
rule.
and then create a rule.
So let's give this a go then. And then a date approaches.
Yep.
So, oh,
Shall I message Kevin and see if we can grab him back?
unless I've maybe done something wrong. Hold on. Let me try again. Or let me try on his, maybe.
Yep, give that one a go. I'll message Kevin, see if we can grab him.
Okay. I wonder why it's. Maybe I'm
No.
missing something.
Considering we didn't add any rules to it,
Maybe I needed to refresh it, maybe?
maybe. Oh, there we go.
Refreshing a page always fixes
Always
the issue.
works.
It's like turning things on and off again, isn't it?
Definitely.
So we could pick 3, we could pick 5, or we could pick 7.
Or 21, or 14. It seemed like you guys could pick whatever number.
I'm going to say 3. And then we'll put due date L&D. And then we'll put that.
Yep.
And then do we just press create?
Yep.
Oh, wow. So it actually shows you when it can be sent to somebody.
Yeah, and you can turn them on and off.
That's really good.
Because they get a notification when a new item's created.
Yeah, because if you're modifying an item and you're just trying to fix some things, you could turn that off for now, couldn't you? And so they're not getting ping after ping after ping of emails because you're trying to fix something on it.
Yeah.
And then when it's done, you could go back in and just do a quick edit so that it pings it back that it's done then. So that's quite. Oh, so I've just clicked here for when an item is modified. When you click it, it's off, but I can also click on it and enter a custom message.
Oh, wow.
So when an item is modified, always, or if maybe changes and the new value is anything, maybe.
Maybe. We'll just mess around with it.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, we did have a question, but we think we sorted it out. So when we clicked make a new rule, it said that there was already the maximum amount of rules, but then we refreshed it and it worked.
Okay, yeah.
We were just panicking.
No, you're absolutely fine. I was just having this exact same conversation with the other group, and what they found was if you can just see at the top of that, underneath where it says manage rules, it says turn rules on or off to automate actions on this list, or create up to 15 rules. The form should be allowing up to 15 rules. At the minute, it's not. I'm going to take that back from my side and go speak to the app development team. but if you did need to, you've navigated to the correct point. You can click on any of the rules if you wanted to. If you just click on any of them now for me, at the bottom left it says delete rule.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You can delete any, and then you can go through and add as many as you need to.
Okay, that sounds great. We'll have a little play around.
Yeah, perfect. Am I okay to pop out, or did you need anything else while I'm here?
No, that was it. Thank you
No,
so much.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So yeah, so if you click here, you
Yep.
can edit it, but if you just want to turn it on and off, you just click the button.
Click there, yeah.
So that's
That'd be quite handy, especially like you said, when you're modifying it. You
Yeah.
don't want a notification to be pinging, like say if you started modifying it before you went for lunch or before you jumped on a call, and you got to modify only a certain amount of it, and then you went back to it later. You don't want it to keep sending out
Yeah,
emails or notifications.
yeah, because there might have been issues with something. Yeah, it can happen like that, can't it? So, but it's a good one because you could then delete this one. So if you didn't want any notification, that's fine because they'll still get the notification 7 days before it's due. So you can even help with that. But if you did want somebody to be prompted, so when we send things off for sign off, they'll come back and they'll say, hey, can you just check like slide 6, 7, 9? Not sure if we do this, or on slide 6 this has changed, now this is the new process, can you add that in? Or sometimes we don't always get every single update of like business changes. So yes, we can see when people leave, but we don't always get the business changes of when someone's been promoted yet. So sometimes it might just be that somebody's just took on a double role, so they don't necessarily get announced. And then sometimes it really helps that ops, when they're reviewing it, they can go, hey, that person doesn't do it anymore, they've left, or this has happened, so this person is doing both of these now. So that's a dual role or something.
Yeah, because I think one of the team leaders for DCA does that. So they're a team leader and a dialer analyst.
Exactly, yeah.
Which would that pop through the JML process?
I would assume so, yeah. It just depending on which one they are primarily for, because dialer's only part-time, isn't it? So then their telephony role's part-time. So I assume it would be under, well, it depends, because if they're leaving, it might just be that the contract has changed and it's not even done for a JML. But
so that comments thing will really help them, because they'll be able to write comments saying, oh, this person's got like a promotion, you need to change this part of like the orbit inductions or the DTA stuff or field or whatever. They'll be able to tell you.
yeah, exactly, because then if you get to, through this, you get to see where the folder is. It's giving you that. You click it, it takes you straight there. You can then see the document, and then you can just put a simple comment, can't you? So yeah, it's I think when we get the hang of it and it actually starts, when we can use it properly and we can send our first actual signed off presentation or facilitate notes, anything like that to do with training, it's going to be really interesting to see how quick people take to it, because sometimes new things are fantastic but they don't always take. And it's about figuring out where it fits within your role, because you spend yourself, you spend so much time trying to figure out where to place everything, that sometimes when something new comes in and you're not used to it, because again, it means that everybody's held accountable for their own involvement. It then kind of means that you have to figure out where that's going to be placed. But I think when you figure it out, it's going to work really smoothly, hopefully.
Do you have to send your facilitator notes off for sign off as well, or is that just I always thought those were just for your eyes only?
No, so yeah, everything, because not everything that you see on a presentation is what we discuss, so that's why they have to be checked off too. So it's just to make sure that what we're saying is correct. And sometimes we have quizzes and they might have answers on there so that we can support ourselves, because we talk about so many different things we don't always remember. It just gives us a bit of a guide, and again, it's like a safety net. Hello.
How are we both?
Hello.
We're good.
Yep, good. Had a bit of a play around with custom messages as well.
You're doing more, that's fine.
we were just saying we really like it, and we were saying that is it going to be exciting to see it rolled out and put into practice when we actually send off like the presentations and things, because like we said in earlier, I think possibly in the previous breakout room, what was yourself, people then are held accountable for their own involvement in this.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Charlotte that when we've got busy schedules, we make it work and we have like certain routines and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how quick people take to this, or whether it still takes a little bit of time for people to get used to it, to being in their kind of orbit. And then it's like, when they do take to it, is it going to be something where it's going to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to completely change the whole process once everybody's on board.
Yeah, I get that. It's exciting. I always like changes. I always like new things that pop up, and if something does change, if more people get involved and it adapts, anything like that is always exciting to me, I think.
Yeah.
Are we both finished, or did you need some extra time?
I think we're both finished. I think we both
Yep.
we've caught on quite quickly, and I think
Nice.
again, I think it helps that Charlotte, you don't really know much about the old tracker, and I'm quite fairly new, so it's not really sunk in yet for me. So it's not like I've got like old habits to get rid of.
Yeah.
We've took to it quite quickly, so.
Perfect. If it's okay with you both, then we're going to go back to the main room, and I'll close the rooms, and you'll jump straight back in, and we'll start wrapping up, if that's okay.
Okay.
Yep. Thank
Lovely,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey. So we're all back. I know Chloe, she's just messaged me. She's just taken a call, so she's still here, but she'll be back in just a minute. But how did we all find that?
Really good. Really
Yeah.
like the freedom you can have with it as well, and I really like that there's different options and you can amend it, you can add comments. You know, if it's something that you've decided, actually I don't want it on that particular document because it won't work for maybe the situation where you might not need as much interaction from operations or SMEs, things like that, so you can remove it, and if you need it you can add it back on.
Nice. Good. Charlotte.
I quite liked, like Sophia just said, I've really liked how you could add custom rules as well. So if you change anything, and you could do like if and statements on it as well. So that was quite interesting to delve into as well.
Yeah, absolutely. For Chloe and Barbara, Sophia and Charlotte started going beyond what it was that we were looking at, and they've started looking at the expanded version of SharePoint that we'll start talking about at a later training session. But you're absolutely right, and I'm so glad you did, because it just showed that how comfortable you got with the process that we currently follow, because of how nice and easy and smooth it was, that you were able to want more in such a short period of time. So it's really good, and I'm so glad that you were curious about it, because you got to learn more in such a short time. So I'm glad. Chloe.
I just feel like it's a much needed change and a welcome change that's going to come in. I think anyone that uses it like should be okay, and like we've discussed, if there are any issues or there's any mistakes made, it's very forgiving. You can just pick those up and make those changes. So yeah, really looking forward to it coming in place.
Good. I'm glad. So what we're gonna do then, just gonna move on to the next steps then. So we're on the last couple of slides. So what are the next steps after this training session? So going forward, as an L&D department, we will continue to remain responsible for the sign-off process. and keeping all the material up to date and compliant. This means that we will begin to use the SharePoint site very shortly in future. The go live for the SharePoint site will be announced shortly, and any refresher sessions on how to use it will be available if needed. I will also be on hand to answer any questions, and I will be ensuring that there are multiple site creators who can support in the making of changes and bug fixes to the site in my absence if needed. I'll also be continuing to work with different business areas, rolling out training to each department head to ensure that all users are aware of the new process, meaning that once everybody is trained and upskilled on this new process, the system will go live. So we will begin to use it. I've mentioned that it's just the beginning. I've mentioned the app development team a few times. So I'm currently working with them to support in expanding the SharePoint site. We're looking to add features such as automated emails being sent out to individuals. Like I said, rather than adding a rule, they can add something called a flow, which is the kind of behind the scenes rules of SharePoint. Automatic chaser emails being sent out, automated rows and notifications when things have been added or the position in the sign off changes, specific colors for each of the rows to show where the feedback is, meaning what needs to be worked and what doesn't need to be worked. What this also means is that we can make any amendments and changes at any given time. If anybody has any suggestions, like we spoke about earlier, about the mentions, having them mentions notify people and send a push notification, stuff like that. If you have any notifications, whether it be in the near future or in 6 months or 12 months down the line, we can take on these suggestions. We can see how the business feels about them as a collective, and if it's an overall yes, then absolutely we can start implementing new things, because SharePoint is so flexible. So like I said, the site's been created for multiple users. Therefore, I don't want it to be built for just one user or one team's accessibility. Its intention was to support the current business needs and to make it an easier process than it currently is. That means all of you and your feedback is at the forefront of the development and the ongoing progression of the site. So the more you give us, the more you feed it, the bigger it's going to grow and the better it's hopefully going to be. No pressure there, I promise. So just a little bit of a knowledge checker for you towards the end of the session, just to make sure some of the key features of the module had landed. So can anyone tell me 3 of the reasons why we use a sign-off process in the business? So you get in there first. Feel free to raise your hand. Chloe, go for it.
So compliance, risk management, and version controls.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. What about then number 2? What is the site called which houses the new sign-off process? I'm sure you can all get this because I've said it 400 times now. Charlotte.
SharePoint.
Perfect. Question 3. What's the name of the document we can use to help us know who to send material to? Barbara, you're in
The
first.
cheat sheet.
It absolutely is the cheat sheet, yes. Using the cheat sheet, can anyone tell me who the BPM is for United Utilities billing? Let's use the quickest. Not a race. Oh, Sophia, you were very quick.
I still have it up, but it's Jade Clark.
It absolutely is Jade Clark. Yes, well done. The cheat sheet goes to Sophia because she already had it still up. So, and then the last one then is name 2 of the departments we send material to sign off. Chloe, right in there.
L&Ds and operation.
It absolutely is, yes. So there's many. So we had L&D, subject matter experts, operational managers, HR, and compliance. Very well done. Does anybody have any final questions? Chloe?
Sorry, doing a lot of talking today. Just a quick one. So, do you know roughly when we'll start using this now that the training's been delivered?
So the current projected date that we've got in mind is the 25th of August, Monday the 25th of August, because all training that we've got scheduled in um, due to requirements and availability are scheduled up until the last training session is on the 22nd, and we want to make sure that every team is trained before we do go live with it, just because we don't want, say for example, if Charlotte wasn't on this and we assigned something for Charlotte to sign off, I didn't want Charlotte to receive a piece of information and go, oh, how do I use this? So we've got training up until the 22nd of August. So we're hoping the start date for it will be the Monday, the 25th of August, which works out quite nicely because it's a Monday as well. Sophia, your hand was up next.
My question's more of kind of like a personal experience situation, but if for any reason like I was to use this and get stuck, are we going to have like support on hand? Like with being new, I've kind of needed to lean on people to kind of get used to things. So I was just wondering if I'm going to still have the same opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing really changes team-wise. If some people are going to find this an easier process, some people are going to find it a little bit trickier. By all means, if you do need support, and this isn't just yourself, this is anybody who's on this call, anybody who receives the training from myself at any point in the future, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to your colleagues. If we're not available, feel free to reach out to the learning and development manager. You're all going to go through the same training. You're all going to have the same information. And if there's ever anything that you can't answer, feel free to shoot me a message. Feel free to give me a call on Teams or anything like that. And I'll be more than happy to support as much as I can. Barbara, you hand up next.
Yeah, so you said about mop-up sessions. I just wanted to check, am I the one training it out to my team? Or
So it doesn't have to be yourself training it out to your team. If there are other leaders or managers that are going to be signing off material, say for example in your absence, or if you've got managers that are closer to the content and material than you are, do feel free to send me a list of their names. And what I can do is I can check their availability and I can get them added onto the training. So everyone will then be covered, ready for the 25th of August.
perfect, thank you.
That's okay. And Chloe.
Sorry, this just piggybacks off the back of Sophia's question. So, obviously you mentioned if we needed support, come to you, you know, L&D manager and so on. But what if we're having tech issues? So, and you know, L&D manager doesn't know how to fix it. Where would we go?
So SharePoint as a site is built and managed through IT. There's only so much I'll be able to do. So I would recommend if there's any tech issues, come to myself just in the first instance, just because I'm the creator of the site. So I'll be the one who will hopefully know all the functionality behind the scenes of all the stuff that's been built from the ground up. If there's anything that I can't fix, then I will go to IT as well, just see if we can get it sorted. Hopefully, it doesn't need to go beyond IT. For me, they've always been the people to fix stuff like this. So if there is any kind of problems with the functionality, we'll go straight to them if needed. Any other questions? Are we all okay? Perfect. If anybody does have any other questions at any point in the future, you can see on the screen my Teams and my email. Do feel free to contact me at any point. If you see me walk around the office, feel free to grab me, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that may pop up. Just a little recap of the aims and objectives then of the session. So the aim of the session was to become familiar and provide a clear understanding of Orbit's updated sign-off process for training materials. We've done this by exploring key responsibilities, procedural steps, and compliance requirements to ensure a consistent and aligned approach across all teams. And I can safely say we've done that today. You'll now be able to describe the updated sign-off process used within Orbit, including its purpose, and differentiate the key changes in comparison to its predecessor. Understand the new document put in place to manage sign-off within Orbit, its objectives within the business, and its service level agreement. And then finally, demonstrate the steps of the Orbit sign-off process to build confidence and ensure compliance adherence. And again, tick, tick, tick. I can safely say that throughout the last couple of hours, throughout this session, we've definitely met all of them objectives. The very final thing from me then, I firstly want to say thank you so much for attending the training session. Before we wrap up, I'm so interested in what you all think and what you have to say. I myself am always looking to improve. I'm always interested in your experience, feedback on the training session. On the screen, you can see a QR code, which I'm more than happy for you to scan with your phone. If you want to do it on your computer, I'm also going to pop a link into the group chat for you to go through and fill that in. If you're able to fill it in, if you're able to do it now, by all means, feel free to. If not, I'm more than happy for you to do it after the session. Be as honest as possible on there. Any positive, any constructive feedback is more than welcome. If the QR code isn't working, like I said, or the link isn't working, do feel free to reach out to me and I can see if I can get that sorted for you. And then finally, just again, a really big thank you from myself for your attendance, your cooperation, and your attentiveness during the session. I really appreciate it. And all I have to say is enjoy the rest of your day and hopefully some really good luck using the new sign-off process.
Thank you,
Thank
Kevin.
you.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
good session. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.